In a bustling Lagos cafe, Deji sits alone, contemplating his latest financial setback when a well-dressed stranger, Mr. Kola, approaches him. At first, Deji dismisses him as another scammer, but Mr. Kola's calm demeanor and knowledge of Deji's personal struggles hold his attention. Over a cup of coffee, Mr. Kola explains his reason for the approach. His organization offers life-changing money, but with one condition. When Mr. Kola reveals the condition, that Deji must completely abandon his ailing mother and never contact her again, Deji is taken aback. Despite his financial struggles, his mother means everything to him. Yet, the promise of $1 million fills his mind with visions of a new life, freedom from debts, and a chance to achieve his dreams. As Mr. Kola slides a card across the table with a contact number, he leaves Deji with the weight of the choice ahead. Back in his small apartment, Deji lies on his worn-out mattress, wrestling with Mr. Kola's offer. The thought of abandoning his mother feels like betrayal, but the allure of money is hard to ignore. He recalls his mother's sacrifices, the sleepless nights working as a seamstress just to support him. Deji knows that this money could change his life forever. As days pass, Deji's inner conflict deepens. He visits his mother, watching her frail figure struggle to move around the tiny, run-down room. She smiles weakly at him, unaware of the turmoil within him. The $1 million would solve everything, yet each time he thinks about it, he feels guilt gnawing at his conscience. Deji realizes that this decision could shatter him, no matter which path he chooses. Unable to let go of the offer, Deji finds himself obsessing over the potential wealth. He imagines traveling, starting his own business, living without the weight of constant financial strain. Yet, his mother's image is etched in his mind, especially her words about loyalty and family. When Deji receives a call from Mr. Kola, reminding him that the offer won't last forever, he's filled with dread. He knows his current life offers no way out of poverty, yet he questions whether he can live with abandoning the one person who has loved him unconditionally. Deji's world feels like it's spiraling as the temptation of money starts to take control. Seeking clarity, Deji decides to learn more about Mr. Kola and the syndicate behind the offer. His search leads him into the dark corners of Lagos, where whispers about underground organizations controlling fortunes are abundant. He feels a thrill of fear as he realizes this is no ordinary business. He's dealing with something dangerous. The more Deji digs, the more he unearths terrifying rumors about people disappearing or changing overnight after making deals with this syndicate. Now, he must confront whether the price of money is worth the risk, not just for his mother's sake but for his own safety. Deji's mother senses something troubling him, and she gently asks him to confide in her. Her concern pierces Deji's heart, but he decides against telling her about the offer. Instead, he reassures her, masking the turmoil raging within. However, his mother's kindness only makes him question his choice more. After their conversation, Deji reflects on the strength and love his mother has always shown him. The realization that he would hurt her deeply by disappearing weighs on his mind, yet he still wonders if sacrificing their bond could lead him to a brighter future. Deji's inquiries have not gone unnoticed. Late one evening, he's approached by a man who warns him to stop asking questions about the syndicate. The man's icy stare and cryptic words send chills down Deji's spine, hinting at unseen dangers. Now, Deji understands that he's entangled in a game far bigger than he imagined. The weight of the choice feels heavier, knowing that backing out might also have consequences. Deji feels trapped, caught between loyalty, fear, and the tantalizing promise of freedom. Memories flood Deji's mind of his childhood, filled with his mother's sacrifices and hardships. She gave up everything to support his education and dreams. The flashback paints a vivid picture of his mother's resilience, reminding him of the core values she instilled in him. These memories make his decision even harder, as he feels that accepting the syndicate's offer would erase everything his mother taught him. Deji realizes that the bond between them is more than love. It's a history of endurance, sacrifice, and unbreakable trust. Determined to find an alternative, Deji starts looking for jobs, hoping to make money on his own. However, he quickly learns that decent-paying opportunities are rare, especially for someone in his position. Frustration builds as each interview ends in rejection. The harsh reality of his situation pulls him back toward the syndicate's offer. He wonders if anyone in his position would turn down a chance for financial security, even at the cost of something precious. Deji's resolve weakens as his financial struggles pile up once more. Mr. Kola calls again, reminding Deji that the offer stands but won't last forever. Deji hears a hint of finality in Mr. Kola's voice, and his pulse races as he realizes this could be his last chance. His mind drifts to the $1 million that could change everything, if only he agrees. He spends the night in sleepless thought, torn between guilt and desire. The offer feels both like a curse and a miracle, haunting him. Deji finds himself leaning towards a decision that could define the rest of his life, for better or worse. As Deji continues to battle his choice, he confides in his closest friend, Femi, without revealing the full details. Femi reminds him of the value of family, recounting how Deji's mother stood by him even when he had nothing. Deji listens intently, but the lure of the money continues to linger. Femi's words bring some comfort, yet they also magnify the guilt gnawing at Deji's conscience. He realizes that no matter his decision, it will come at a cost. As he contemplates Femi's advice, Deji begins to understand that this choice isn't just about wealth, it's about the type of man he wants to be. Deji's nights become sleepless as he's haunted by conflicting emotions. Each time he closes his eyes, he sees visions of a luxurious life, yet his mother's face always interrupts the fantasy. His internal battle begins to affect his health, with fatigue and anxiety slowly creeping in. He finds himself avoiding his mother's calls, fearing that any conversation might sway him further from the decision he feels pressured to make. As Deji looks at the city lights from his tiny apartment window, he wonders if he's truly ready to sacrifice family for wealth and whether he can live with the guilt. One morning, Deji receives an unmarked letter slipped under his door. Inside, a single sentence is typed: "Your decision is expected soon." The ominous message confirms that the syndicate has eyes on him, pressuring him even more. He feels trapped, realizing that they're more powerful than he anticipated. Deji tries to shake off the unease, but he can't ignore the creeping fear that he's being watched. Every shadow seems like a threat, reminding him that his choice isn't just personal, it's now a matter of survival. His life no longer feels like his own, and he's terrified of what might happen if he refuses the offer. Desperate for advice, Deji visits a local church. While sitting in the back pew, he's approached by an elderly woman who senses his inner turmoil. She offers him comforting words, saying that sometimes the hardest choices are the ones that bring peace. Her gentle voice and wise words ease his mind. Deji feels a strange comfort in her presence and briefly considers confiding in her. However, he stops himself, realizing that involving anyone else could put them in danger. Still, her words echo in his mind, and he wonders if there's a way to find peace without sacrificing his future or his family. In a moment of weakness, Deji allows himself to imagine the life that $1 million would bring. He pictures a spacious home, a car, fine clothes, and endless opportunities. The fantasy is intoxicating, filling him with a sense of purpose and ambition he hasn't felt in years. Yet, even in his daydreams, he feels a hollow emptiness, as though something crucial is missing. Each imagined luxury seems dulled by a shadow, reminding him of the cost of wealth gained at the expense of family. The vision fades, leaving him with an unsettling emptiness. Deji visits his mother's home again, this time with a heavy heart. She seems frilier than before, but her spirit remains as warm and nurturing as ever. She talks to him about her dreams for his future, unaware of the dark choice he's grappling with. Her unwavering love fills Deji with both guilt and gratitude. He realizes that she has always wanted his happiness, even if it meant she had to endure hardship. Her words strike a chord, as he sees the potential consequences of leaving her behind. Deji begins to question if money could ever fill the void of family. Mr. Kola contacts Deji again, informing him that he has only 48 hours to make his decision. The ultimatum fills Deji with dread as he realizes time is slipping away. The pressure mounts, and he feels the weight of every second ticking by, pushing him closer to a fateful choice. Deji's anxiety reaches new heights as he considers what's truly at stake. The thought of accepting the offer terrifies him, yet the idea of living in poverty scares him even more. Every passing minute brings him closer to a decision that could alter his life, and his soul, forever. In a last attempt to clear his mind, Deji visits a secluded beach at night, hoping the solitude will help him think. The crashing waves bring him a moment of calm as he contemplates the gravity of his choice. He thinks of the people who lost themselves chasing money and questions if he's about to become one of them. The ocean's vastness reminds him of life's mysteries, and he finds himself wishing for a way out. For the first time, he feels the urge to let go of his ambitions, embracing the love and sacrifice that have carried him this far. But will he have the strength to walk away? Back in Lagos, Deji receives an unexpected visitor, an old family friend who knew his father. She reveals shocking secrets about his father's life, including his involvement with a similar syndicate that ultimately destroyed him. Deji is stunned, realizing he may be walking the same dark path. The revelation shakes Deji to his core, leaving him questioning if his fate is tied to his father's mistakes. He feels an intense need to break free from the cycle, but with the syndicate's ultimatum looming, he wonders if he has the courage to resist the call of easy money. The night before his decision is due, Deji finds himself unable to sleep. He wanders through the silent city streets, lost in thought. Everywhere he looks, he sees reminders of what money could buy, but also the faces of people who seem happy despite their humble lives. As dawn approaches, Deji experiences a moment of clarity. He realizes that the $1 million would come with strings that could forever bind him. For the first time, he feels a sense of peace in his decision, though he knows the syndicate won't be pleased. When Deji meets Mr. Kola the next day, he is prepared for whatever might come. He tells Mr. Kola that he can't accept the offer, refusing to abandon his mother. Mr. Kola's smile fades, replaced by a menacing expression that hints at retribution. Despite the threats, Deji stands firm, knowing he's made the right choice. Mr. Kola warns him that no one rejects the syndicate without consequences. As Deji walks away, he feels a mix of relief and fear, knowing he's defied a powerful force, but also stayed true to himself. The aftermath of his decision is immediate. Deji's phone starts receiving anonymous calls, with no one speaking on the other end. He senses he's being watched, noticing unfamiliar faces in his neighborhood. Fear seeps into his daily life, yet he feels a strange pride for choosing family over fortune. Despite the intimidation, Deji refuses to regret his choice. He stays close to his mother, taking solace in her presence, but remains vigilant. The consequences of defying the syndicate have started, and Deji prepares himself for whatever might come, determined not to let fear control him. Deji's mother senses the tension in him and insists he talk to her. This time, he decides to confide in her, revealing the offer, his refusal, and the threats he now faces. To his surprise, she is not angry but deeply moved by his decision to stay with her. His mother offers him wisdom, telling him about her faith and how it has protected their family through many hardships. She suggests they seek the guidance of a local spiritual healer, believing that there are forces beyond the physical world that can provide protection. Deji agrees, feeling comforted by her unwavering love and strength. Deji and his mother visit a respected spiritual healer on the outskirts of Lagos. The healer listens carefully to Deji's story, sensing the dark energy surrounding him. She performs a ritual for protection and gives Deji an amulet, instructing him to keep it with him at all times. The healer warns Deji that while the amulet offers some protection, he must remain vigilant. She explains that breaking free from the syndicate's grasp will require both courage and faith. Deji leaves the healer's home feeling lighter, but he knows the battle is far from over. Shortly after the visit to the healer, strange events begin to unfold. Deji's apartment is broken into, but nothing is stolen. Instead, he finds a note on his bed that reads, "You can't hide from us." Fear grips him as he realizes the syndicate is far more ruthless than he anticipated. Despite the warning, Deji clings to his mother's faith and the healer's amulet. He becomes more vigilant, wary of anyone approaching him. His resolve is tested daily, yet he refuses to give in to the syndicate's attempts to intimidate him. He knows he's in danger but trusts that he made the right choice. Femi, Deji's close friend, notices his tense behavior and presses him for answers. Reluctantly, Deji tells Femi everything, warning him of the potential danger. To his relief, Femi stands by him, offering support and a safe place to stay if things get worse. With Femi's support, Deji feels a renewed sense of hope. Having someone to confide lightens his burden, and he realizes that true wealth lies in the loyalty of those who care for him. Despite the looming threat, Deji finds comfort in his friendships, strengthening his resolve to resist the syndicate's influence. One evening, Deji receives a chilling call. Mr. Kola's voice is on the other end, warning Deji that he has one last chance to reconsider, or he'll face the consequences. Deji's heart pounds, but he stands firm, telling Mr. Kola that he will never abandon his mother, regardless of the syndicate's threats. The call ends abruptly, leaving Deji shaken. He knows that rejecting the syndicate's offer again has likely sealed his fate, but he refuses to live a life dictated by fear and betrayal. Deji braces himself for the syndicate's retaliation, aware that they will stop at nothing to control him. As Deji walks home from work one night, a stranger approaches him, introducing himself as Emeka, a former syndicate associate who escaped. Emeka warns Deji that the syndicate preys on those with financial struggles, luring them with promises of wealth and power, but at a steep cost. Emeka offers Deji advice on how to protect himself, sharing strategies he used to evade the syndicate's reach. Deji listens intently, grateful for Emeka's guidance. With newfound knowledge and support, Deji feels better prepared to confront the syndicate's threats, hopeful that he can finally break free. Deji's mother, aware of the risks her son faces, gathers the community for a prayer session. Neighbors, family friends, and even strangers join in solidarity, offering prayers for Deji's safety and strength. The outpouring of support fills Deji with gratitude, reminding him of the power of unity and faith. Touched by the community's love, Deji finds himself uplifted. He realizes that the syndicate's power is limited by people's willingness to resist it. Deji gains a renewed sense of purpose, understanding that he has a responsibility not just to himself, but to everyone who believes in him. One evening, Mr. Kola confronts Deji in person, demanding that he reconsider his decision. Deji, feeling emboldened by the community's support and Emeka's guidance, stands firm, telling Mr. Kola that he will not be controlled by fear or greed. He asserts that no amount of money is worth his integrity or his mother's well-being. Mr. Kola's expression shifts, a flash of anger revealing his true nature. He warns Deji that the syndicate will not forget this defiance. But Deji holds his ground, feeling a sense of liberation. He realizes he has won the battle, not by force, but by refusing to betray his values. With the syndicate's grip finally broken, Deji finds himself free from the fear that once consumed him. Though he knows the syndicate may still be watching, he chooses to live with dignity, embracing the life he has with his mother and friends. Each day feels like a gift, filled with gratitude for the people who stood by him. As Deji rebuilds his life, he finds fulfillment in ways he never anticipated. He realizes that true wealth lies not in material riches, but in the strength of family, friendship, and integrity. The journey has changed him, and he emerges from the experience stronger, wiser, and more committed to living a life of honor. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Kindly share, subscribe, and hit the bell button for more stories like this.